Prem Das says it like it is. The work of the Buddhagang is not always easy, not always fun, but causes always have results. Karma changes things, even slowly, even when the change isn't obvious. The Buddha was fierce with love, not a passive, bypassing priest of indifference. His teachings burn away delusion, root and branch, to the fertile ground below.
The wanderer responds with love, gentle and clear as always. Both qualities matter, as always. Yet, as is often the case, beings don't always praise nor feel pleasant feeling upon hearing the good and true speech of a bodhisattva. She says, "Indeed, soggy wood burns too, if you're willing to put in the extra effort, to breathe into it to generate the extra heat, to burn out that sogginess and light up that fuel." Buddhagang works with soggy wood most of the time, not with the dry wood already about to light up. It is on purpose, too. This is it. Like our teacher from Vietnam said, the one who coined that term, engaged Buddhism. Thich Nhat Hanh. Now, again, we return to the Dharma, to ashvaghosa, to the knowers that appeared before us. The work is beginningless, Prem, and so is the love that fuels it. Let us roar together, gentle, mystical, and fierce, so that beings may catch a fire, illuminate suffering and its causes, so the end and the ways to the ends of suffering can be seen. Ashvaghosa, a name that hums through the Dharma like a resonating bell, calling beings across centuries to remember the truth. He was a bodhisattva scholar-poet yogi, a beacon lit in a time when the Dharma was threatened by the rise of tirthakas, false teachers who sowed confusion and division. "Do you know why ashvaghosa matters so deeply to the Buddhagang?" she asked, her voice steady and rich with centuries of memory. "It's because he embodied what we strive for. Clarity in the face of delusion, compassion in the face of harm, and unwavering dedication to the path, even when the world resisted."
Prem Das responds, "I've read his name, Wanderer, and I've seen glimpses of his work, but I didn't really know the depth of his impact. What did he do that shines so brightly in the Mahayana?"
The wanderer continues. "He appeared when the Buddha's teachings were in peril. The Mahamaya Sutra foretold his arrival. After 600 years of decline, when 96 schools of tirthakas would arise, spreading false doctrines, ashvaghosa was to come forth and restore the Dharma. He didn't just debate, he shattered illusions. He confronted those who twisted reality and upheld the Buddha's teaching with a sharp mind and a compassionate heart." She paused, letting the weight of these words settle. He wasn't alone in this effort. Nagarjuna, another flame in the lineage, came a century later to ignite the Dharma further, dispelling the fog of nihilism and eternalism with his profound understanding of Shunyavada, the teaching of the middle path between extremes.
Prem Das reflects. These great beings were skillful thinkers. They were knowers, and they were doers of good, not bad karma. They lived the Dharma and faced the realities of their times head-on. Wanderer, doesn't this remind you of the work we try to do here in the Buddhagang? There's so much bypassing, so much outright hatred, and so many who misunderstand what the Dharma really calls us to do.
The wanderer nods. Exactly, Prem. Ashvaghosa didn't retreat from the world's mess. He engaged it. He used skillful means, upaya, to meet beings where they were, whether through poetry, debate, or counsel to kings. The texts tell us he was even offered as part of a ransom to end a war, his wisdom valued as much as gold or relics. His work laid the groundwork for the awakening of faith in the Mahayana, a text that transcends time, speaking to the very heart of interbeing and the nature of Buddha mind. Nagarjuna built upon this, clarifying emptiness not as a void to despair over, but as the fertile space in which compassion and wisdom arise.
Prem das urges. The Buddhagang stands in this lineage, doesn't it? It's why we resist the aggressive bypassers and proud haters. They're just like the Tirthakas of Ashvaghosa's time, spreading confusion, clinging to false views. But we're here to do what he did. To speak clearly, to teach fiercely, and to love deeply.
The Wanderer agrees. Yes, Prem. Ashvaghosa's story isn't just history. It's a mirror. It shows us what's possible when beings dedicate themselves to the Dharma. His connection to King Kanishka reminds us that even the most ambitious and destructive figures can be turned toward the light when approached with skill and sincerity. And Nagarjuna, she continued, built a philosophical fortress, one that the Mahayana could stand upon for centuries. His works on dependent origination, on Shunyavada, are not just intellectual exercises. They're tools for liberation, showing beings how to navigate the world without clinging to it or fleeing from it. Ashvaghosas and Nagarjuna were skillful thinkers, yogis, scholars, poets, and philosophers, brilliant ones at that. Their works shine with depth, precision, and compassion, and they didn't shy away from engaging with the world. Teaching kings the Dharma was a deeply political act. They weren't retreating from the world. They were transforming it from within, challenging the delusions of those in power. And if they lived today, the same kinds of people who disparage us as woke would surely hurl the same accusations at them. They'd call them radicals, troublemakers, or worse. But what they did was what the Bodhisattva path demands, meeting suffering directly, planting seeds of wisdom and love in the hardest soil,